Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. I have with me Juan Sandoval. He's a senior loan officer with me at Nebraska Enterprise Fund. Wanted to give thanks to Do Space for allowing us to have this space and share this information with businesses. Thank you so much for that. If, as Bree mentioned, if there's anybody that has a question, a comment, anytime along the presentation, feel free to leave it on the chat. I'll do my best to stop and answer you as soon as I can. As well, feel free to send us your information or your questions if you have any after the presentation. As well, if you want a copy of the slides so we can make those available to you. Well, he's a loan officer with me with Nebraska Enterprise Fund, and he'll be helping me monitor the chat. Today, we're going to be talking about financial management in a business, mostly do's and don'ts, and what are best practices for small businesses when it comes to financial management. Hopefully that this is something relevant for you today, right now, especially with this pandemic going on ways that you can most definitely help your business stay in healthy wise, financially speaking. All right, so what would be a basic financial concept? We as lenders do like to talk about this quite a bit, just because it is the way that we are able to help businesses understand how they can stay afloat when it comes about money management and financial management for their business. One question that I do have, and hopefully anybody that is on can answer that, is what is it that you know, or what do you think is financial management implies on your business? If you can maybe take a little bit of time to answer that question real quick. All right. Now, when it comes about financing, there's a few things that we as lenders look at a business. So when we have the first initial conversation with a client, one of the first things that we talked about is the equity on the business and how the equity would go versus the financing on the business. So per se, you have an idea and you want to start a business right away, which is great. A lot of the times what you want to do is you want to sit down before you even invest anything on the business and start analyzing what or how much money would you have to start your business versus how much money would you have to lend to start your business. And that's very important when it comes about small businesses, is because most of the time when I talk to a new client, they have a great idea, but they don't have any money that they have saved up prior to it. And so what they're looking for is 100% financing from an institution, and that can be very, very difficult for us as lenders, because we're not seeing anything on the side of the client that is invested on the business. The way that that a lot of times I explain it to my clients is, if you have your child, your children, your son, your kid, and they are asking you for a bike or a car when they grow up, and you as parent are going to finance 100% of it, and your kiddo is only going to drive it and utilize it, and when the vehicle runs out of gas, they come back to you and say, Dad, I need money for gas. It comes to a point where you as a parent, you have to tell the kid, well, yeah, you got the car, but now it's your responsibility to maintain it and to put gas on it. And that's very similar when it comes to a business. We as lenders are more than happy to help you build it and grow it, but we also would like to see that you have the equity on the business and that you bring something to it, not just as financing your dream or your idea. Now, there are different types of financing, and we'll go through these a little bit in depth in a little bit. But the financing and working capital versus the financing of your fixed assets. That is something that a lot of our clients, we take them to a courses, and this is one of these classes that we take our clients through it, which is called Essentials for Entrepreneurship. And we help them understand why and how it's so important for you as a business owner or as a potential business owner be able to finance your own working capital. Um, One, if you were to finance your working capital with an institution like ours or a traditional bank, you are incurring interest on something that you're already utilizing to get your business going, rather than you being able to utilize that money without any interest because you're already putting that money on your own. We as lenders are more than happy to help you buy bigger equipment, possibly a building for your business. Maybe it's a truck, maybe something bigger that obviously you need to grow your business with, and you don't have the means to it. Rather than us giving you or lending you the money to pay your employees, paying for any expenses such as maybe your website or your advertisement, that should really come from the business. So when it comes to you talking or approaching a bank or a financial institution and asking for money for your business, just take in consideration that they will like to see you and your business be able to provide for certain necessities that your business needs it. If that makes any sense. Hopefully I didn't confuse you with those two concepts. And do's and don'ts. Um, these are, I love this class when it's live because I get to see your faces and I get to interact with you on one-on-one. So hopefully we can make this a little bit entertaining because I honestly love feedback from the participants, and especially in this question on do's and don'ts. One of the questions that I asked is if would you be willing to invest your own money, or would you be willing to get a loan for 100% of your project? And I think I touched a little bit about this before, but hopefully if you can and have access to the chat, maybe you can answer those questions, and maybe we can have a little bit of discussion like that. Um, and then I'll just keep going if I see a question, or Juan, if you see a question, would you maybe stop me and we can maybe address it?
Sounds good.
It just really, I really love this one just because it really gets the business owner engaged on it. Um, so they invest your own money. We have earned the right to borrow. Um, you know, I always share this story when I'm teaching this class. Um, I had a conversation with a person a while back, and just because you have a business, please understand that not 100% all the time you're going to be approved for something or for a loan. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind it. It's always in your best interest to come prepared and to have your business prepared. But don't always assume just because you fill an application or you know the banker or you know the person in the institution that that is going to guarantee you a loan. And that's the second point on earn the right to borrow. Obviously, a lot of banks or institutions have regulations that they have to follow, and not because you come in and you apply for it, and you get denied, you're gonna have that relationship broken. There's always other stuff that you can do, and you can always come back and resubmit your request at a later point. So just understand that. Show profitability. This is a big one, especially with the small businesses and startups. And one of the things that I have seen, it comes when you're doing your taxes at the end of the year, especially the first and second year of the business, uh, because you're a startup and you're a small business and you're growing. We get it. Um, you, for some reason, enter this dilemma on whether to declare um, profits on your taxes or losses on your taxes. And whether and even though if it is okay for you to report losses on your business the first year or possibly maybe the second year, that does affect your per se your percentage of getting approved. And the reason why is we as lenders look at your taxes and your filings as a way for us to tell if your business is able to repay the debt or not. So, for example, if you're asking for $10,000 for year two on your business, but you showed a loss of 15, 25,000 that year because you included or you deducted um, any expenses or any inventory that you bought, which is perfectly okay. But it's kind of hard for us to justify that your business is going to be able to make the payments for your current loan if your business is not making any money. So even though you might think that it's going to harm you to pay the taxes that you should be paying, it is definitely going to help in the long run because we as lenders see that as a way for us to justify whether your business can sustain a monthly payment for a loan. Then understanding and keeping working capital. This is a lot of times what I see happening on the service industry. Either you're working yards or you're doing roofing or you're doing construction or any type of service, the business service out there. You need that working capital to pay your employees until you get paid uh, from your invoices. And keeping that money available is so important for you as a small business the first few years. After you're able to secure a line of credit or working capital loan from a traditional bank, it is super important for you to put that aside. And that's something that I have seen struggle a lot with small businesses is keeping working capital afloat and aside for anything that they might need. Um, when it comes about fixed assets, again, you rather be able to buy or pay out of pocket what you can to be able to save interest later on. You can always ask for a loan 36 48 months, but just understand that you are paying interest on 36 48 months out of something that you could have buy out of pocket the first year and not pay so much interest on it. Now, do I have anything on chat at all by any chance? Not yet. I don't think I see anything. Again, feel free to answer any questions or ask me to stop or repeat anything that might be a bit confusing or not. I know it's always talking about finances can be kind of tricky. All right. If there's no questions, I can most definitely keep going. All right. Now the 4 C's. I know this is kind of a secret kept by the lender community, but it's not really. We as lenders like to take a profile, so to speak, sneak peek at the person who's coming in and who's asking for the loan when it comes as personal and business. One, because we want the business to be able to perform in a level where it can repay the debt, but also the business owner has to show certain qualities for us to be able to go forward on the loan. A lot of the times, and many times, when a client wants to get a loan, and it's very unlikely that that person is either turning in all the information or is not prepared when it comes with their financials. It is very hard for us to make a good picture of the business. So one of the advice that I give my clients when they're ready to transition from our institution to a traditional bank is that anytime that they go and visit with a banker, make sure to be prepared with the documentation that their banker is going to need them to ask from them. One, because it shows that the business owner is prepared and is ready and he knows its business. Rather than going in and either saying, "Well, I don't have it and I can get it back to you," or I don't know what you're talking about a profit and loss statement. I think I lost my audio there for a second. All right, so one of the first C's that we're going to be talking about is capacity, and that would be the ability to meet payments. And as I was as you remember that I was telling you earlier, is when we look at your financials and your tax return, we like to see that you have at least 1 to 2 capacity to repay your payment, and that means that your business is making at least twice as much as the payments that you're going to be making for the loan. So, for example, if your business is asking for the 10,000 that you're going to be borrowing, and your payments are about $200 to $300 depending on what terms you're getting, we'd like to see that the business is making enough to pay that monthly payment twice. That way, we know that you're going to be able to pay your loans that are outstanding. You're going to be able to pay your employees if you have any. You're going to be able to pay your providers if you have any, and that you're going to be able to pay yourself. So that's one of the first C's that we look is the capacity of the business to repay the debt. The capital will be the value of your assets or your network of your business. That is more on what is that we can utilize that your business as a whole, and how much would your business as a whole would be value at. And then we look at that whether you're a startup or whether you've been in business for a few years. We in Nebraska Enterprise Fund are here to match the gap or fill the gap where a bank are not able to fund you as a traditional measure. However, there's a lot of clients that come to us that have been in business for already 3, 4, 5 years. And one of the first things that we ask them is to always visit a bank, because we want to see the whole value of the business being able to move forward. The third C is the character, and this is a big one on our institution, because we do take a very close look at our clients and how and what is their character on paying either their bills, their employees, and anything of their finances. Banks do take a very close look when it comes to credit scores and when it comes to your financials. At Nebraska Enterprise Fund, we do as well. However, because we are here to fill the gap, and a lot of our clients might be in a position where they either don't have a score where the bank will take them. We do take a very close look at their credit score in a very different way, more personal. And that's where we have a lot of one-on-ones with our clients. And so this is where character come in place in our end. And the line lastly is collateral. If you think about it, the way that I explain it to my clients is, if you think about it, when we're closing on a loan, we are giving you cash in the form of a check, obviously, but we're giving you cash in exchange for your word that you're going to repay the loan as promised. If we do not secure the loan with any kind of collateral or asset from you and your business, it puts us in a very uncomfortable position when unfortunately your business cannot go as planned, and we have to come and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, you have missed a few payments. What's going on?" And that's why a lot of institutions require collateral. We do require collateral, and we're more flexible when it comes to it. But it's just a way for us to be able to secure in case something were to happen. I mean, you've noticed, the past couple of years have hit Nebraska pretty hard when it comes from floatings. Now with the pandemic, if at one point we were not asked for any collaterals and your business goes unfortunately under, then there will be a bigger loss because the interest that we usually occur helps another business. And in this case, it would be possible if we were to have to write off the loan or anything like that. So anytime that you are about to ask for a loan, these would be the four things that you would like to ask yourself before you approach a bank or a financial institution. Um, and it will be a good way for you to be prepared um, when it comes to asking about lending. So again, the capacity to pay to make your payments, the amount of money that you or your business would have, the character that you have as that will show that you can repay and pay your debts and bills, and any assets that you may have that we can utilize collateral for the loan will be a good, huge help. Any questions so far? I don't think I see any. Juan, do you see any at all by any chance?
Oh, I've got one. So Sky asks, how will I show this if I'm using Dave Ramsey's method? I'm currently paying off all my debt. I do not have any credit cards and I do not have a car or house. So what would my collateral be?
Yeah, that's actually a very important point. We're talking about two different things, and whether I advise our clients to do, I guess, how do I put it in simple terms? When you're talking about personal finances, the less debt you have, best, because obviously you want to have less impact on your credit score that you have less debt. However, when you're talking about a business, having debt in a business, a manageable and a managed debt percentage is good. It shows that your business is healthy and is growing. One of the advices would not be for your business to not have debt, because it shows history and it shows that your business is growing. So when we're talking about personal finances, and I really applaud you with what you're doing with that. What we can do when it comes to utilizing collateral, if you're buying equipment with a loan that you're gonna be seeking, we can utilize that purchase or that equipment as collateral as well. The other thing that we can utilize is someone as a co-signer, and we can use that maybe for part of the loan, say the first 6 to 12 months, until you generate that payment history and buy either equipment or have other assets that we can then substitute the uh, the co-signer and then utilize that as collateral on your loan. I hope that helps, and that makes I don't I hope
I have something to add, Leo, really quick. We have a client that we review an application, and they use the same concept with Dave Ramsey, and then they haven't utilized their credit for a long time. So they didn't have any credit card, they didn't have any loans on their vehicles. The mortgage was paid off and all of that. And because that person didn't have any credit, it didn't help that individual to get credit with any financial institution. Even with us, we had to get somebody that will co-sign for him because he didn't have any credit. We cannot have an score or anything like that. So my suggestion would be, don't close all of it. Even if you get a small credit card that you pay every month and you just make a payment and you're showing that you're using your credit a little bit, that probably would be enough to generate some credit score when we have to review an application.
Great, thank you, Juan, for that. And that's a great point. And we do have a class where we talk more about boring. It's called Boring Basics, and what to do when you need credit. But I guess to put it in simple terms, you don't need to spend and have tons of credit cards to have good credit. So even with one credit card, you can start building your credit, and you don't have to be, thousands of dollars in the credit card. You can easily get a secure credit card from a bank and start building it like that. But like I said, when it comes to your business, there has to be some way that we can show that the business is healthy, and we usually do that when it has some sort of debt, and we see that is being repaid by that. But absolutely, if anybody would be interested in us bringing that class, either here to Do Space or one of our seminars, please feel free to let us know. We'll be more than happy to put that together for you as well. But that's a great question, though. Is there any other questions by any chance, Bree or Juan?
I'm not seeing any right now.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I hope I didn't confuse you more than help you with that. Let's talk about loans and how would you be able to get ready to apply for a loan. And even though a business plan is number one, I would argue that number 7 would be number 1 before anything. And that's just personal opinion. If you think about it, when especially now that things are getting kind of crazy, when you see it on your personal life and you're trying to go buy groceries, you try to find the best deal, and you go to that store because either has the best deal on the full stuff that you're gonna buy. Same thing with money, and same thing with loans. Not because you have a bank for your personal finances, it means that you have to stay with that one for your business loans. You have to first research and see what bank has the best features that is going to benefit your business. After that, then you can make an informed decision on which bank would you be willing to do business with. And that has to do with a few things. Either the bank is local, is it a federal credit union, is it not, is it a traditional bank, or what kind of history has it with a small business team. So that'll be one of the first things that I always would do before even approaching a bank. And then we'll go back to number 1, having a business plan. I would not advise you to go and ask for a loan without having a business plan. It is so imperative to do. The reason why is because you might know your idea and you might know your business, but understand that us as a financial institution do not know that. And your business plan is literally the letter telling us how is your business going to operate. Where is your money going to go? How much do you need to sell to make a profit? What is your marketing strategy? So all those questions are going to be answered in your business plan. And if you don't have, if you don't know how to make a business plan, which is perfectly okay, not everybody does, there's institutions here in Omaha that can help you with, and that we can either get you plugged into. But not having one is not an excuse just because you don't know how to make one. It's most definitely easier for you to ask any institution here in Omaha, nonprofits, to be able to help you with that. You can also pay for these to be made, but right now there's several institutions in Omaha that can help you with it with no extra cost. The point number 2 is also knowing, and this goes included in the business plan, know how much you can pay or how much your business can pay. If your business needs $10,000, but in reality you can only afford $5,000, one out of 2 things: either wait until your business can pay for that, or 2, don't go for it until your business can pay for it. Because what is going to happen is you're going to hurt your business more than you're going to help. Faith is great to have. It's just an awful strategy to utilize when it comes to business. And wishing and hoping for something to happen and not having a real picture about it, it is what has happened. A lot of businesses go under. Which is great to have, is just an awful strategy. So before you approach a financial institution, understand how much your business is making and how much your business can pay for in order for you to apply for a loan. Also, if you do have a bookkeeper or you have someone who does your finances, one of the things that you could do is ask for statements, your profit and loss statements, your financial statements, your cash flow statements, and analyze again on number two, how much is it that your business is generating that it can actually make for it. Now, a lot of the times, what you find when you're looking at the statements is that your business is actually making, your business could actually make more money if you tweak some things internally before going and asking for a loan. And you notice that on your profit and loss statement, you can see maybe you're making you have a lot of expenses, and you can reduce those expenses and actually save money and don't have to rely on a loan versus just thinking that your business is in need of a loan. The point number four is check your credit report. Even though, and this might be a tricky question or a tricky point to add, but when we're making a loan, depending on what structure your business is, whether it's an S corp or a sole proprietorship or a LLC, understand that we're making the loan to the business, but as a person and owner of the business, you are liable for it as well. So your credit report will potentially reflect that there's a loan against you as well in some instances. Not in all of them, but in some instances. So do understand that if you are thinking about buying a house or making a big purchase before applying for a business loan, just be cautious, because that will show on your report, and that can very well jeopardize you securing any bigger purchases that you might do on your personal end. Point number five, establishing collateral options. We talked a little bit about this already before. What assets do you currently possess that we as lenders can utilize as collateral and help you with? And I know we talked about a little bit about co-signers there. That will go a little bit on number six as well. We're gonna move forward to the quality of loans, and sorry, there you go. I think, do we have a question? Did I saw a question there? Maybe not.
Yes. With statements, especially entrepreneur-like businesses, what is your thoughts on using business money for personal things like car payments or eating out and writing those off, if that makes sense? About a year ago, I was trying to buy a business and I stopped because of their financial statements were fishy in that way. What should I do to not get myself in that position?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think, you as a business owner, and that has to do with a lot of depending on what structure you are as a business. But yes, if you are an employee of the business, you're able to write off certain stuff. However, just understand that your business is not your personal expenses account. That's why you should be paying yourself and reporting that on the on a different end, because exactly that point. If you are going to be either selling your business at one point, you want to show a clean statement on the buyer and make it attractive for whoever is going to buy it. It could possibly be your retirement fund when you're going to sell your business. So one of the things that I always that I would advise to is keep everything separate once possible. Yes, if you're utilizing company vehicle, make sure the vehicle is in the company's name and you're writing off that, not paying your monthly payments out of your business for your personal vehicle. So what you could do is actually declare that you do have a company vehicle and be able to depreciate that in your business, but not write it off as a personal expense. The other thing is also when it comes to bankruptcy or you get outed, if you are paying your personal credit card out of the business, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to get out of it paying the penalties on it. So if you are going to inquire a credit card in your personal end, make sure that you're not paying that out of your business expenses, because that's going to end up um, damaging you if you happen to get audited. And two, it just looks really fishy when you're trying to run it through a credit application. That's actually a great question though, because I have seen a lot of, especially when it comes to small businesses and startups, they don't pay themselves a salary because it's a very brand new business, and that really can affect in the long run because you're not reporting taxes or taxes that you should be if you're not paying yourself. Even if you pay yourself and put it back into the business in some sort of way, you do have to be able to receive an income out of your business. One, because it's a business, and that's what it's meant to do. And two is because it's going to help you have some sort of paper trail, and it's going to help us lenders know that you can repay your debt. That's a great question. Any other questions by any chance, Juan or Bree? I don't think so. All right. Okay. Well, we're just gonna touch on this really quick. We're almost to the straight line here, so just hang with me. I hope, like I said, I love this class. I just really love when it's live because I can see your faces, and if you're rolling your eyes, I can kind of call on you and be like, what's on your mind? But since I can't, I'm just gonna keep going. All right, we already touched a little bit on the credit score and the contributions, the repayment ability, and the loan to the loan value ratio. One thing that I want to stress out is don't. All right, so I'm gonna put it in simple terms. If you are lower than 500 on your credit score, 100% you're gonna need a cosigner to help you with the loan. If you are on your upper 600 to 650, you will be required to have collateral and very, very possible a cosigner when it comes to lending, depending on the amount of the loan. If you are between 700 and 750, we still require collateral, but not necessarily a cosigner. If you are 750 and above, you still be required to have collateral, and again, not so much of a cosigner. Now, you keep hearing me say collateral, collateral, collateral. It goes back again to what I explained before. We're giving you cash in exchange of your word. And even though we want to have a great relationship with you, we just don't know what happens in the next 4 to 5 years. And we want to make sure that we're able to secure the funding that we're giving you to be able to help another business later on. So please understand that. And if you have anything that we can help you with, feel free to reach out as well. All right, let's go to startup financing. All right, now here's a question that I ask, and I love to see people's faces when I ask them this. Would you finance your business with a credit card? And I know it sounds kind of silly, but a lot of the times when you're a startup, all you really need is $15 to $2,000 to get you started. And a lot of the times I have seen, you probably won't believe me if I tell you how many times I have seen that people finance their startup costs with their credit card. If you're thinking that, and this goes, maybe you're gonna start an e-commerce, especially right now with the pandemic and a lot of the places for loading people. A lot of small businesses are emerging because they want to start their own business, knowing that they give so much time to their companies, and unfortunately they've been furloughed or fired from the current or for the previous position, so they decided to go on their own and start a business. And if you're gonna start e-commerce or something small like that, all you really need is a couple of months of your web hosting and possibly fees for your licenses, and get you started. So it's probably less than $1,000 that you will really need for the next first 3 to 6 months. And so what I have seen is a lot of businesses are financing that with a credit card. Well, just understand that you're financing um, with possibly 13, 14% interest on that. You'll be a lot better off. And I know families can be kind of tricky, but your best option before credit cards would be asking a family or relative or a friend or a business partner to lend you the money rather than paying the 14, 15, and even 26% interest on something like that. And the reason why that is so important is because it's so easy to do. I mean, it's possible that you already have the credit card and you already have the limit and you already want to start your business. So the first thing you say is, okay, I'm gonna pay for this license. I'm gonna start my Etsy store or my Shopify or something like that, and you start paying and it's easy for you to just charge it to your credit card because you hope that you're gonna be making money by month 2 or 3, um, and then it doesn't happen, and you're stuck paying interest on your credit card, and little do you know, you start digging a bigger hole rather than helping yourself out. So this is one of the questions that I always ask when we are live is which of these four would be the best option for you starting a business? So if any of you have any idea, please let me know. Would you finance your business with a credit card?
There is a comment saying that what about using sweat equity to start a business?
That's a great question, Juan. And I guess does it says anything else, or what kind of equity were they talking about? Does it says?
Sweat equity. So basically, they will put work, labor, to start the business, like painting and doing things to start the business.
Right, but is that what the question is? Is what?
Yeah. So what about using sweat equity to start the business?
You can. Here's a problem with it though. If you go that route, it's gonna be very hard for you to make it sustainable. If you are the only person doing it, you're gonna get burned out pretty quickly. And as soon as you start having someone else to do it, then you're gonna start paying labor on it. So you, by all means, if you need to do that way, then by all means get it started that way. Just understand that it's going to be obviously yourself, and if you are going to be working on your business, it can be very, very overwhelming very, very quickly. Definitely better than a credit card. Absolutely better than a credit card. It's just not sustainable. I think there's another question that popped up maybe. Did I see another question pop up maybe? Or what?
Yeah, he said, I'm a baker, so I'm not sure how to get it started. My own business. I'm looking towards the credit card maybe.
Yeah, a baker. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to ask you this question. Maybe if you feel comfortable answering it. And when it comes to bakery, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. But what is your main focus when it comes on selling? What are you thinking of selling? Because I have a lady that I know that she's making pie filling. She's not making the pies, but she's making the pie filling, which is totally different, as if you were actually preparing the pies and selling them. It's a different ballgame because you can actually resell your filling into stores and make it a wholesale that way, rather than if you're making the product, you have already a shelf life that is probably less than a week, and you need to get that inventory out and quickly and turn around. So I would love to know what kind of product you're selling, so I can kind of help you out more in there.
It is more like wedding cakes and birthday cakes, things like that.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So here's something that I would advise you to do definitely. Um, you know, like I said, credit cards are always very bad to do. So I would honestly try to stay away from them. If it's something small that you need to start with, um, we have a product for startups. Uh, Talk to us. We're more than happy to see if we can help you with that. If you need a few $100 or maybe a couple $1,000 to get you started, get you off the ground, what I would advise you to do is, first of all, list what items besides the cakes can you make to resell at a smaller price, but a good turnaround. For example, I have a lady um, who actually does wedding cakes, and she only does it on the weekends and whatnot. But she needed some blender that cost like $2,000 for her to get it started or something like that. So what we talked about is she could also make cookies and actually sell them and save up the money for that if you are not able to secure a loan or anything like that. So my advice to you would be to write down 5 things that you can make besides the cakes that can make you money before venturing and investing, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 on whatever equipment that you need. Now, if it's more than 10,000, also talk to us because we have a product for small businesses that we can help with as well. But I would love to talk to you if you want to. I'll make sure to share our contact information, but I would definitely stay away from credit cards, especially if it's more than $5,000 to buy any sort of equipment for your business. I hope I didn't confuse you on that. All right, great. Is there any other question by any chance, Bri or Juan at all? Or maybe is that a follow-up, maybe?
I don't see another, so you can continue.
All right, awesome. We only have 2 more slides, so please bear with me. And these are just key points that I want to mention and kind of reiterate to you. When it comes to business, I guess let me put this very, very easy to understand. If you're in business, you're in business to make money, right? If your business is not making money, then it's not a business. And let's just put that straight in simple terms. If your business is not making money, it's not a business. And if you wanted to go in business to make money, then there's a few things that you need to understand if you want to play this game. One, you need to understand that at one point you're going to need a loan from some sort, either to grow or to keep your cash flow flowing, your business flowing. I'm sorry. In order for you to do that and to be able to be in a good position to ask for a loan, you need to have good numbers or somewhat organized so we, the lenders, can read them. One of the biggest investments that you can make for your business is to have some sort of software or bookkeeping method for you to keep your records straight. When it comes to startup, you can always start with QuickBooks. If it's QuickBooks way too hard for you because you don't understand how that works, we have a QuickBooks workshop that is amazing, not because we put it, but it's because the guy who teaches it is really good. It goes from A to C and all you need to know and how to operate it. But if you are not on that position, always having someone who keeps record of your books is so important. There's 2 reasons why it's so important. One, it saves you time, and two, it takes a headache away from you. And that comes when anything that has to do with money and numbers. Maybe you're super great at cooking, or you're super great at what you do in your business, but you, like me, are awful when it comes about organizing the numbers. So it's always good to have someone who does it for you. So if you were to hire someone, the first person that you should hire is always a bookkeeper, to be able to keep your finances straight. Then number two will be starting with a budget. And like I said again, when I have this class live, the first thing I said is, when you go shopping, did you just go shop whatever you want to buy at that time, or you actually take a list? All right, well, let's take a step further. If you take a list, do you also add a budget on what you're going to spend at the grocery store? Because it's very different if you take a list of 10 items and you spend $300 on those 3 items, versus you take a list of those 10 items, but you only have a budget of 150, so you only stay within the budget. Very important when it comes to your business, always know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. Otherwise, you can be upside down very, very quickly. I had a restaurant business that I love very close to my heart, but they spent about $10,000 for this past Cinco de Mayo. Things got crazy. That didn't even happen. They were negative $10,000 because they bought a whole bunch of food that they thought they were gonna sell. Pandemic hits, everything goes spoiled. They lost $10,000. That's not something you want on your business. You want to always have a budget and projections for your financials. We'll skip the number 3 because we already talked about it. The 3 statements that your business should always have. This would be your most sacred statements that you're gonna have to live by, breathe every time you can. Will be your balance sheet, your cash flow statement, and your profit and loss statement. 3 pieces of documents that you're gonna have to become very familiar, even if you have a bookkeeper already hired. These are 3 things that you want to know for sure. For example, if you do not pay attention on your profit and loss, you might think you're making money, but in reality, you're not. So it's very important, these three statements that you get. These are the 3 things, just hint. These are the 3 statements that we take the most close attention to when we see them from a client. So if we take a look at it, you should too. So, and I think we talked about the next point in the question that was brought up earlier. Keep your personal and business records separate as much as you can. You don't want to be entangled in your personal and your business. Which kind of brings me to the next point. When it comes to small businesses, it's very, very common that a startup or a small business brings a family member, a friend, to the business, which is great. If it's your best bud or your sister or your mom or whoever that is, because you have the trust, that's perfectly okay. Understand that as soon as that person enters the business, it becomes a business relationship, not a personal relationship. This is very important because if something were to happen, such as a discussion or a disagreement, it can be taken personal very quickly and it can affect the business. So just understand that when you bring in a business partner or someone to help you with the business, and it's close relative or someone you know, just make sure that you have that uncomfortable conversation before that and make that person aware that whatever decision happens inside the business is business related, not personal related. Just want to kind of throw that out there because I have seen that a lot with a few of my clients as well. And the last one, again, remember that make sure that your business is able to repay the debt, especially your taxes. You might be able to run from us or any institution, but you cannot run away from Uncle Sam. Somewhere, somehow, somewhere, they'll find you, and you'll pay that taxes that you owe, a lot more than what you used to owe. So make sure that your business is in a good position to it. If you want to play this game, you need to know you do need to know the rules. Um, and again, if the business is not making money, it's definitely not a business. So it's always good for you to reevaluate every time that you have those statements, because you kind of wanted to. All right, and oh, it looks like my froze. This is where we were talking about. I'm sorry. For some reason, I had it on my end, but it doesn't seem that it's in there. All right. So this is the end of the presentation. If any of you would like to have this presentation sent to you, the slides, or you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. We'll be more than happy to do so. I'll go
Leo,
ahead. Yes.
we did have, it looks like we had one more question from
Okay,
Sky.
wonderful.
Should you have an idea yourself to keep them honest, or how would you know that they're doing a good job to not use a bookkeeper as a crutch, but also to have the knowledge and take a look every once in a while?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how that works.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and that's a great question. Um, and you're right. You should never have 100% trust in the bookkeeper. One, because it's your business, it's not the bookkeeper business. As long as you pay the bookkeeper, they keep doing whatever they're doing. That's why it's always so important for you to have some sort of knowledge of your business. And that's why I mentioned before, and I apologize I didn't have this slide before, but knowing these three, knowing these three statements, and knowing how to read them is key for you as a business owner. Just like your balance from your checking account when you get it every month, um, and you're looking through it, and there might be a charge from Amazon that you don't recognize, or there might be a charge from some weird gas station that you don't recognize, and it's actually the one down the street that has a different name. Um, Knowing how to read your statements will be a good way for you to visit with your bookkeeper at least once a month, for minimum once a month, if not twice a month, to go over and check those. Now that's why I made you this comment a few minutes ago, is it should be your first hired and your first employee. Now, by you having them and paying them, you do have the right to ask for an explanation on the numbers on how they are filing your taxes. Um, I know I don't mean to sound rude or anything, but they're humans too and they make mistakes. And at the end of the day, it's your business too. This is just to get a headache off your shoulders. However, it should not fall entirely 100% on that person to do so. So that's why we offer the QuickBook classes. If you want to start there and then, so to speak, upgrade to a bookkeeper, you're more than welcome to do so. Just understand that as long as you can read the balance sheet, your cash flow statement, your profit loss statement, you are in a pretty good shape, comparison to other people that are just writing their books on a piece of paper or in a notebook per se. All right. Is there any other questions, Juan, Bree?
I don't have any.
All right. Awesome. Alrighty then. Well, those are the only things that I have for all of you today. Gentlemen, I just want to share my contact information and Juan's contact information. Maybe he can share that with us. That way you can get in contact with us. We also have different trainings along the time. So if you do not follow us already on Facebook, or I'm sorry, if you don't currently like us on Facebook, please do so on Nebraska Enterprise Fund. You can check our events page to find out more of trainings. My name is Leo Martinez. I'm a loan officer and business mentor for Nebraska Enterprise Fund. My email is leom@nevbiz.org. Phone number 402 685-5500, extension 202. And that will be the same number for Juan, just extension 203. Juan, what is your email? How can they get a hold of you by any chance?
Is Juan S at nebic.org.
Great. Well, thank you again. I hope if there's any other questions, Bree, thank you very much. Do Space, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving us the time to have this workshop, and all of your business owners, best of lucks. And if you need help, we're here to help. Just reach out. We're more than happy to assist you.
Thanks, everybody. And if you, actually, Sky is asking for your number again, Leo. If you would give that one more time.
Absolutely. So 402-685-5500, extension 202.
And if you missed all of that, feel free to reach out to DoSpace. If you go to our website, you can chat us up, and we can get your email over to the folks here at Nebraska Enterprise Fund.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.